Oh wow, too much headspace.
Oh, no.
Wait. I'll lift up my chair.
Okay. Here, that's better.
Does it lift?
Yes, it does. You pull it on the side.
Oh.
There we go.
I just crippled. Like make me look like
There
a
we
child
go.
next to you.
Hi, we're live. Is it 5:30? It's 5:30.
5:30, we on time.
We are. Oh, how we try.
We do. All right, so let's start the intro. Welcome to Homeschoolific. I'm Diana.
And I'm Lavonda.
Oh, we're homeschool. I said that.
And we're Homeschoolific. It is. It's okay. So we got a few topics today, and we were hoping that you guys would kind of chime in and let us know what you're thinking. I think Diana's pulling up the live chat so we can see the comments a little bit closer.
I'm confused on why we're not showing live though. I'm on my personal login.
It should be.
I could be just crippled.
There we go.
Okay, I'm on LTE.
You were on there. Oh.
And I might be delayed. Okay.
Yes, it's usually set up.
Okay. I just don't know why it's not playing anything.
Okay, y'all. We just want to make sure
You know how you gotta do the things. Y'all know how live
y'all can
work.
see us because no one's down there yet, so we got a little time. Let me not be distracted by work, email.
Okay, that's why you said I wasn't strange for having my picture up there. Hey, Steve. Okay, Steve can see us.
Steve. Okay, good. Hi, Steve.
Hi. I can tell. Okay. So, good things. Good things. All right. So, today we are going to be doing some reactions. And it's going to get a little nitty gritty here.
Yeah, I guess not a live reaction though, because we're not gonna watch it, but it's more of our responses, our reactions to watching it previously. And so let's just jump right in. You're already seeing the title, Shiny Happy People.
It's a documentary on Amazon Prime. If you watched it, if you didn't, don't bother. Just listen to what we're going to tell you. Don't give them, well, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's a 4-part docuseries, and it's pretty much documenting the real story behind the.
It's supposed to be a real story. It's supposed to be focused on the Duggars.
Yes, and more of the cult that they were behind. That was behind them.
Well, yeah, I think that was the point, but it showed it like it was originally. It showed up like it was about the Duggars.
Family.
Yeah,
right.
And honestly, I felt like they were kind of
they were a tool.
It felt like if you ever watched Walking Dead and like originally you were there for the zombies, but then 2 seasons in you realize like the zombies aren't even a thing. It was like that. Yeah, for people. Not that I watched that.
We are real people, and we watched Walking Dead. So, the premise behind it was really to expose the cult, the Christian cult.
Wasn't
that they were?
Cult, was it?
Hmm?
They called it a cult.
They were calling it a cult, but it's
legally.
by definition of what a cult is. One man.
No, they had a choir that windows into their sanctuary. There was videos. A cult.
Okay, so let's look up the definition of a cult.
Gotcha.
See.
I used to be part of one, and I can tell you what a cult is and what a cult ain't. And while this was an interesting sect, I don't think it qualifies as a cult.
They're describing it as one.
Yes, in the documentary.
But if nothing else, they were extremists. Which extremists can typically get labeled as that. What'd you find?
Okay. So in our modern definition, a system of religious variations of devotions and doctrine towards a particular figure or object.
It's a cult.
Anything.
He was the figure.
Okay.
So I can't even think of his name.
I don't know. Okay. They put it as a cult. She feels like it's a cult. I don't feel like it was a cult. I feel like it had cultish vibes. Definitely cultish tendencies, but there's several religions that are not considered cults that I've seen that in, especially when you're talking about sects of Christianity. You can see that in different areas.
That's true. That's true. So we'll just say they were extremists.
Yeah, I guess.
So the IBLS, is that what it was called?
Mm-hmm.
So there was the IBLS movement, which was help me, Diana, International Bible, Anyway, so they followed a very strict way of living, and there was a man who led the IBLS at the time, whose name was, we knew all this before the camera started.
They've been really smart to pull this stuff up.
So anyway, the man that they were following, pretty much had like set rules in place for them, like beyond the Bible, but like this is how you should train your kids, this is how you should live, do these things. They were very specific things they were following. And the premise behind the docuseries was to expose this, what they considered cult, right? And how it made the Duggars appear, right? Because on TV, they wanted to make sure they were portraying their faith in a real way so people could see, and I truly believe they felt like that, so people could see there was good things. Unfortunately, there were undealt issues with their eldest son, Josh, that really scarred their testimony and how they dealt with it. Let me say that, because our kids will mess up, right? It was the way that they dealt with it that scarred their testimony, but also exposed the issues that were within the IBLS movement. And so it started, the first episode of this docuseries started more on that lines in the beginning. Like, oh, okay, you know, they look like this really happy family. The kids are always obedient and all these other things. And then after the first episode, I was a little uneasy.
I didn't get past the first episode and 15 minutes into the second one, because what I saw immediately, pretty early on, was a full-on attack against homeschoolers, especially Christian homeschoolers. So that's what I saw. They used a boat, and I don't know if you're familiar with the Kirk Cameron homeschool.
The Homeschool Awakening?
Yeah. And it felt like a response to that video, that documentary, I guess, saying where he was showing these ways of homeschooling, the value of homeschooling, and they were like, hey, there's a problem with homeschooling, especially with these Christian homeschoolers, and let me tell you what. I felt personally, like, I felt so attacked as a homeschooler that I didn't finish watching it, because I was like, one, I refuse to give you my views, and two, I don't really, like, you're telling half-truths, and you're also getting people that hate our community to talk about us. Like it's one thing, I get it when there was, like, you know, the Duggar's daughter, like Jill Duggar talking, you know, the family members talking, that was one thing. But when you get people who are anti a group of people and you put it on as facts and you present it like they're the only people, like, that was weird for me. I
feel like that's also the premise of a documentary. Like, that's always how they're presented, right? This is the truth behind this. This is why, you know what I mean? Like, the other ones are lies.
Yeah.
So I think that 100%, they made it sound like it was very cut. Like, you can see they cut up a lot of people's responses.
Yeah.
Or I could tell that Jill, the way Jill was talking was not the same. It was like she wasn't under the same, in the same interview that some of the other people were in. They're asking different questions, but she wasn't being asked questions in regards to, like, what, you know, they use the IBLS's homeschool curriculum that was supposed to be for them, right? Most people aren't doing that. It was very specific. So that's what they required whoever their members or whoever to teach, right? And she was saying that, like, you know, they didn't really get a great education because it was based on all morals, like moral standards, this and that. It didn't really focus on, you know, reading, writing, arithmetic. Like that wasn't really a focus, and so they felt like a lot of people were saying like they didn't feel like they got a great education. But I see their kids are doing all right.
And coming from Las Vegas, y'all, listen. First of all, I'm just gonna say, I need to do a few things. One, we by no means are trying to persuade your thoughts or your feelings about this documentary. You know what I'm saying? But what we do want to do, our purpose here is to make sure that, because it might be seen one way, we're not saying all homeschooling is this way. That's one thing, and that's what I kind of felt like you would walk away from if you were not familiar with homeschoolers, especially if you didn't have any in your life. That's one. Two, I'm like, I'm trying to keep, like, I'm trying to reel it back and not like blah, but I can't, because I can't be PC that way.
I don't think we're supposed to be PC.
No, we'll get we'll get whatever it is, demonetized or whatever they're doing.
Okay.
If we say things we're not supposed to say. But you know, it's like, it's so crazy to me because it's like we don't get to be a protected community. And people can say whatever, and nobody makes any kind of thing. And like, yeah, they use a boat, but if you look at what they were saying, it was an attack on our community, and I was really upset. My husband was with me watching it, guys. I was really upset, but anyway.
Yeah. After the first episode, it took some convincing for my daughter because she was like, she wanted the tea. So I'm like, okay. It was rough. It took me a whole day and a half, and I finally was just like, all right, okay, we'll finish watching it. But it was blatant. There were parts where, one specific area where they mentioned a homeschooling group of young people whose only goal was to infiltrate our government and take over. They have long-term plans. I'm like, that sounds like any young adult who's interested in moving forward in a political realm. Like, they're not, this is part of why you get in politics. When you see issues that you don't like, you tell your kids, listen, when you don't like these things, we get involved. Yeah. I was like, but 100% my goal is to raise my kids to infiltrate wherever area they're in, and be a light. My goodness. Like, nobody is telling, no one's saying, they should be, they want to change laws. Yes, that's what anyone wants to do when they go into politics. We see that all the time. Laws get changed all the time depending on who the majority are. That's the purpose. Like, that's what's happening. It's only bad because of the viewpoint that these young people have going in. They're making it a bad thing because of what they believe. Yeah. And that's not right. I think one of the things people need to do too is, like, you need to go and see where's the funding, who's funding this, and I'm always about following the dollar. Like, there's a paper trail here, and it's, I don't know who or what, but somebody wants to make homeschoolers look like we're evil, and we're not. If you are new to our channel, or if you are wondering about homeschoolers are not trying to cause havoc or problems or take our kids and turn them into zombies or whatever. We are actually just trying to educate our kids to the best of our ability. Coming from Las Vegas, I love Las Vegas, but it has a very poor school district, so poor that we decided that it was better, even though I wasn't willing at first to homeschool our kids. And it was the best thing for us. I can tell you all kind of perks about homeschooling, but it had very little to do with the it's not a matter of, like, I'm not anti-public school. I'm pro homeschooling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know what it does for our family. I know what it did for our family. I know that you can be public school and be a great person. Yes. We're never saying that. No. What we're saying is we've done enough generations and generations, and all these problems that they brought up happens in the public school system. They made it like it was a unique situation that only happens to homeschoolers, and that's not true. Right. I mean, and they also kind of went into quite a bit of abuse that was going on in the IBLS, which is their church group or whatever, and there was. I think one person they interviewed pretty much said that they were abused by their parent, and it was allowed to happen because they were homeschooled and no one, pretty much no one saw, no one could see, right? And
which is really sad.
That is really sad, and I'm not trying to take away from that or his story, but I 100% agree that can happen when there are evil people who want to keep their kids away from other people so that they don't see that their children are being abused.
Yeah.
But not all those people are homeschooling.
No.
Most of us are, 99.89%
doing this because we just want to.
That's too much effort. It's too much effort.
Yeah.
There's something evil within you to decide that, but that's happening in the public school system too. We have to really take it all with a grain of salt.
When I was in high school, and by the way, hey, love Kadish, you are okay with not watching it. We have told you all you need to know, girlfriend. But when I was in high school, we had a couple teachers that were known for sleeping with the students, and we also had a teacher that used to sell Sherm to the kids. We all knew which one. He was a science teacher. I mean, the thing about it is like, and it's not to say that all public schools have this problem, but it's to say that evil people exist everywhere, and we really need to be like working towards healing that, not blaming, this group of people because you're a homeschooler, you're more likely to be able to abuse your child. There are some. I've always had some concerns about that with homeschools. I've shared that with you, like. Nobody. If these people keep their kids away and nobody sees your kids, then what if they're being hurt, right? However, I learned some things, and specifically with the shutdowns. But prior to the shutdowns, guys, the schools are not keeping up with the kids as much as we think they are. Kids are being abused and are being left at home and not put in schools, not homeschooled, although they're registered in the public school system, and nobody's keeping up with them.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. So to say that that's only happening in the homeschool community,
or that it's more prevalent,
yes.
or
There's no
someone.
statistics.
No, thank you. That is someone's story, but I felt like 100%. After watching the docuseries, I didn't like the light that they tried to put Christians in. Being a believer myself, there are extremists, right? And their group was an extremist group. I am not an extremist.
And we're not saying people who followed them necessarily.
No.
Because they were just looking for, he had good sound, like a plan. And people, you just, when I was a part of cult, it wasn't a matter of like, oh, like this looks fun, let's be really restrictive. It's more just like, this was my way to try to do everything I possibly could to please God. It was to check off those boxes. And so we get that happens,
It was also their way. He showed people this idea that they could raise their kids to be like, really, it was an idealistic view of turning their kids into these perfect people, right?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't do wrong. If you do it like this, it's foolproof. Like, do all these things and your kids will be great, right? And so that was the promise. And so people were, there were some things that made me cringe for sure, watching the Shiny Happy People and some of the things they encouraged. Even
you didn't have any
within.
friends that were part of this community?
I didn't have any. So I may have known some people that reflected their home life reflected what this group was doing, but they never came out and said it. But it looked very similar.
Most of the families that I knew that did this, they did not do it to the T. They took the nuggets and they ran with it. While they might have dressed the dress to some level, they didn't buy all in. I think that's something that's important. Like, in all these things, in all things, moderation, guys. Like, you should be asking, is this smart? Is this good? It's kind of like, even with as a homeschooler, when we were choosing curriculum, some things were like the fact that my kids have to take consumer math over algebra 2. Like, that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I not going to teach them how to get along in regular life?
Right.
So
the idea of only teaching, right, Steve, all things in moderation. This idea, like, we want our kids to have, for us, a good sound biblical foundation. However, that is not all I'm going to teach them. And and based on some of the comments or the testimonies of the people in the docu series, most of them, that was pretty much all they were getting taught.
So,
but I don't know.
No, because some of my friends, they would say stuff like, well, why does my child need that? And I thought, well, you get to know it. Why don't they get to know it? I thought that was I want to give you every bit of knowledge I can. My prayer is to educate my kids above me, like above my capability. So you should know everything I do and more.
Right. So their kids are being restricted on what they can learn.
I don't.
Is that not a cult?
Yeah, I mean, but we could call public school a cult.
It is.
Because like you're restricted on what you can learn. Like you don't offer this. Like there's so many things that kids should know. Like real world things, and it's not offered, or funding doesn't allow it anymore. I remember when my kids was in public school, and I just thought, this is like a practical thing. Like this is stuff we had in school. Why can't they have that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but yes. Or why are they learning stuff they don't need? Like they don't need. Like why is this a requirement? I don't know. But anyway, I digress.
I mean, that's kind of all I had for Shiny Happy People.
Yeah, me too. Like if you want to watch it. But at the same time, like it'll rough your feathers up a little bit. Just make sure you tell people. Like if you know people that are not homeschoolers, especially if they've watched this documentary, just share with them like there's a light that's being shed, and be careful to not take that the thread that they were putting in there. Yeah. Yes, we need to be careful about quote unquote cults. We'll call it a cult. Well, I think I like indirectly called it a cult a few times. But I don't believe that. Like I'm very sensitive about calling people's belief systems cults.
Yes, I agree. But I feel like a lot of people had good intentions going in and still did throughout. But they had no idea like what was actually happening. Yeah. And so, but yeah, we just don't want this to have a negative effect. But I mean, it already has for people who don't homeschool or don't know anything about it. It makes it look like, but then, maybe that's not a thing. Maybe we shouldn't do this for our kids. Like, man, those people are crazy.
Oh, I don't want to be those homeschool people.
What are they doing to their kids?
Like Duggars.
Yeah.
I thought their kids looked a little cute. Just needed to make it a little more modern. Like, yeah. And then stop it at a certain age. Like that was the only thing. Like, yeah. Should she be 16 looking like her 6-year-old sister? Ooh, it's a little weird. But, to each his own, All right. So our next hot question, that is interesting.
It is. So this has kind of been something I've been struggling with for a while. Where are the other people of color that are homeschooling their children? Are we not going out and being a part of things? Here's the thing. For as long as I've been home, let me just say, it's been 11 years. It'll be 11 years in September that I've been homeschooling. I am not in this for the last couple of years or whatever. It's been a while. And there's only usually 1 or 2 black families, maybe in any situation.
So we had quite a bit of diversity at the last 2 years.
Yes. In our homeschool group back in Las Vegas, we had a really good balance that it was really, that last year was the last couple of years. They were really good. Yeah. But
it's rare.
It's rare. And so I'm trying to figure out, are we hiding? Are we getting together?
And it's really weird because there's a lot of black homeschoolers on YouTube. So I got blogs, YouTube, but then when we go to homeschool groups, and
we're at events.
Yeah, at events. You mentioned homeschool conventions.
Yeah. Are we not going?
We're not represented. And I don't mean, you might see a few Asian people there. There's hardly ever any Hispanics there. We just don't see a lot of people of color, period. And we're curious, like, do you not come out and play? When I was in Las Vegas, I thought we didn't homeschool, and then I ran into a few families that were black and they did homeschool, but they just didn't come out and do things, and I just don't understand what it is. So if you guys know what's going on, if we're just not privy to the information,
where are the other homeschoolers that are people of color? That's my question. Like, are there just not enough of us? And if that's the case, I implore you to share with someone. Let me just say this, like my stance on every time I'm feeling a little bit shaky about homeschooling, or exhausted, whatever it is, and it's like, okay, there's a school that this charter school's really, you start thinking about school options, and then I think about my kids again, especially my little black boys. Like, I don't know what's different. My daughter, I have a daughter who's older, a teenager, and my boys are 8 and 9, and our public school system does not they do not favor little black boys. Like, I don't want to I'm not going to go in there and fight the schools for them, and they struggle the most. For some reason, the teachers, it's like they don't. I saw with my brother, and we weren't even in public school.
my sons,
Diana's sons.
why I homeschool. And here's the thing: it's statistically it is true, and it's not even just that they're not. It's even with black teachers. It doesn't matter. Something about it is an issue with black males, and it was such a thing that one of our homeschool parents back in Las Vegas, she was white, but she was so passionate about seeing what was happening. She would constantly go to things educating black families about why they should homeschool their children, especially if they have black homeschoolers. And I know this is sometimes an uncomfortable conversation for people, but it is a real thing. I don't know what it was, and honestly, with my upbringing, I wouldn't have believed it until I experienced it myself. And I watched my son's teacher, like, literally like just strip every good thing about him away, and it was so disturbing. And it was like she just didn't care. She didn't even believe he could learn. But like every year before then, the teachers, they knew they were fine. And this particular teacher, who was also a black woman, did not believe my son was capable of learning. And I had to pull him out of school and undo all the damage she did and move, like get him going forward from that. He's also a very successful young man now, by the way.
Yes. And another thing too is that boys in general just need more time to develop than girls. Not even just physically. There's something mentally where they just, emotionally they just need more time, and once they're there it's fine, but school doesn't allow for that extra time for them to it doesn't allow for you to take time to teach how they need to be taught, or give them more time to learn something. And so I feel like our young men especially, they get put in a box. So if you're not learning at this rate, then now we automatically put you on a special plan. So you're in the special education class, your IEP. Yeah, and that's not every kid needs an IEP.
No.
Some of them just need more time, and so and I get it. Like, it's an individualized plan to help them.
And it's really hard when the teachers. To be fair to the teachers now, this particular teacher she was a jerk, but. Yeah, most teachers, they are really actually trying.
Absolutely.
And they are overwhelmed. And we get that. Like, I totally get that. And I took it up on myself to do school. We were doing school together 2 to 4 hours every day after school. It was another reason why I homeschooled, because I was like, why do that? The other thing about people of color coming out to play is I don't think a lot of people realize that our white friends want diversity for their children too. Yeah. They want diversity in age and in color. Like, they want diversity for their children as well. So y'all, come outside and play.
Yes.
Like, I don't know why y'all won't come out. But come out.
Did someone comment something? Because I saw someone say something, but I want to know, why wouldn't more black people, or not just black people, but people of color homeschool? Why aren't we homeschooling more of our children?
Okay, so Love Kiddish said, I feel like there are not a huge amount of people of color, of parents, unless it's kids who were adopted by white parents, that are homeschooling. But I believe most of us keep more to ourselves in general. I didn't get on that train. I don't know. Like, I'm like, once I find some people I'm attached to, I'm like all up in there. Like, yeah, let's play.
Beat ourselves. Wow. Okay. So here's my thing about that.
Michelle says we do though.
Oh really?
She said we do.
About us?
About like Black people as a general.
Oh, in general, our culture.
She said we tend to like not say our problems. We don't want to share issues. She said we tend to keep to ourselves.
Yeah, because we were raised that it looks weak. That's a weakness, and also you can't just share everything with everybody.
What y'all want to know? I tell you almost everything. Like 80-90% of it. I'm okay.
Actually, me too. But
she really will. We are open books. I guess that's like maybe that's why we don't get it.
Yeah, and I don't know. We're not protecting our kids by keeping them away from other people. It's important that we come together, and I get.
Steve's like, I love the cows. You're so random. By the way, Steve, the cows have had a couple babies since then. I have taken pictures and like, oh, I'm missing this to Steve, and then forget because that's me. But I'm gonna post some updates. Like we've got baby goats and baby cows.
Yes,
and,
put it in our community.
Yeah,
post pictures in the community.
I will. I'll post pictures. It's just a cute little baby cow too, just freshly born.
Oh,
sorry. Let's get back.
So I think it's just important because our kids we live in a world that's not all Black. Mm-hmm. You're fine, Steve. He said sorry. Our world is not all Black. Our world, same for any other ethnicity or culture. I don't know why that was so hard getting out. Our kids need to understand, to experience it all. And if people only wanted to be around other people of color, there are groups for that too.
So then my follow-up question is, are you guys part of some kind of like group, like a church group, or like what do your kids do for fun, like gatherings and stuff like that? Because my kids would have pulled my hair out and found ways to like tie me up and go run away if I didn't have them out with other people.
And also like conventions. It's not even just the kids, it's the parents. Like I don't see them out.
Oh yeah.
I don't see here's the thing. I'm not saying you have to go to a homeschool convention, but we'll be at the Great Homeschool Convention in Round Rock, Texas, July 6th through the 8th. And I love going to the conventions because it encourages you as you're homeschooling. It's that during that break, that season of rest, it's like you get so rejuvenated. You feel like you could do anything once you finish a homeschool convention or homeschool conference, just like any other conference where you get motivated to go and kick butt. Like, I want to kick butt, right? That's what it does. And I get it, like there's lots of books that can do that, but nothing, like the Bible talks about iron sharpening iron, and it's that same thing for our homeschool community at the conventions and the conferences and the gatherings.
All right, you can read Steve's comment there.
So Steve-O says, my kids take in those that are broken.
To be honest.
Okay. I'm like, what does that mean again? To be honest, they bring
Who's
in
older
kids
here?
that have they bring in kids that have been tossed away by their parents. Can't count the amount of times I've had a random kid sleep at the house.
Okay, first of all, you're amazing. You and your family, you guys are amazing.
Yeah.
My parents were those people for our friends, and like everybody calls them either mom or dad or nanny and poppy, and they are like, I'm like always trying to be as good as them, and I'm not. They're so awesome people. So let me just tell you that they see what you're doing, and as a result, we like always offer people. Nobody ever shows up for us, but
yeah.
We offer people our home all the time because of what our parents did, Steve. So please be inspired by what you're doing.
Yes, keep going. Those kids, you don't realize how much that can change the life of a child, going into a place where they feel safe and loved. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So,
and then they got somebody to play with. That's my thing. Ooh, y'all got friends. I'll be back. Because it's a thing. So yeah, like, come out and play, guys. Like, and also too, my thing is like, I would not be a homeschooler if it hadn't been for the support of other homeschool moms. Like literally, I was giving up the next year. I was done after the first year. I was done. I was out, and it was other homeschool moms that encouraged me and showed me other ways to homeschool that kept me in there. So, excuse me, sorry. So, my homeschool community is so important to me. Like it's a big thing because like how am I when I'm down, and this past 3 years have been particularly hard with homeschooling.
Yeah.
I need that sharpening. Like it's important. Like I have a video that I recorded for you guys. I haven't put it up, but I was there where I'm confessing things, and one of the things I'm confessing is like the amount of times, especially in recent times, I've thought about putting my kids in school, back in school, and it's been a real thing. But my community keeps me grounded and reminds me of my reason. Reminds me that the grass always looks green on the other side.
Does.
Reminds me that I've been down that road, and do I really want to go down that road again? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. For me, that community thing is a big thing for me. Like I don't know. So
and it keeps you going. Like you said, it keeps you going. It keeps you going. So
come out and play.
A couple things. More people should be homeschooling, right? But especially more people of color. Homeschool your kids.
I think there's a lot of them homeschooling.
I don't know that. I don't know that to be true. I think that where there's a will, there's a way. And I didn't realize that some of, we're working, we're homeschooling, whatever it is. But there is a way. There's a where there's a will, there is a way. Okay? Make sure you get a community to help you. It's not something that should be done by yourself. And that community could be family, that helps you get started in that. And then branch out and find other people that are homeschooling, that are on that journey with you and can encourage you. And also, come out and play. More homeschoolers. Come out and do things. Go to the conventions. Go to the museums. Let us see you out doing things. Now let me just preface all that. I guess it's not preface because I didn't say it before. Let me say this now. I'm going to backtrack. Working in homeschooling can kind of tie up some things. So I haven't been as flexible in my time to go and do as many things as we were doing previously, but it's important, and it's going to be more of a priority going forward during the week, because it's easier, it's cheaper to go places during the week instead of on the weekends. There's just lots of things, but I'd like to see more of us, not just Black people, but all types of homeschoolers. Yeah. All kinds.
My Indian brothers and sisters, my Native American brothers and sisters, my Hispanic brothers and sisters, and we're trying to take Spanish this year. How can I immerse these kids if I got no one to talk to? Oh gosh. Thank you for the compliment, Steve. And I love hearing that your family is multicultural. You should really send us a picture of your family.
Yes, I want to see.
Yeah.
Because I'm nosy. That's why.
We are devoted, but we are flawed. I mean, like we mess up all the time. We're just like, we are inspired by you guys, and we're hoping to inspire you guys as well. It's a currency.
Yes. Because
we need it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's important for us to have each other to keep going and to raise wonderful people that we're trying to raise. And I think that a lot of times, like, you can look at everything, you say, well, I was just fine. And yeah, we were fine. But the thing is, like, my goal is always to do better. And like I was saying to Steve, my parents were great parents. So like they set this bar. Well, I want to go even higher, learn from their mistakes, go higher. And then I want my kids to do the same thing and go even higher.
Right.
And this has been a hopeful tool for us. And I will also say, like, for me, I love the time our family gets together like that. If for no other reason, guys, like, we are such a close family. In spite of the fact that our kids live so far away, 2 of them live in Las Vegas and we live in Texas, we come together once a week and we Zoom call and we talk about our goals and our aspirations. And I mean, like, my 23-year-old calls me at least 2-3 times a week and texts me almost every day. We are like a very close family. And I love that. I would do this for that if nothing else.
Yeah. And a lot of it is building those bonds and that closeness. Not saying it can't be done in other ways, but man,
Sure is easy this way.
it is much easier this way for sure. Unless you're super strict and you like live a cult like life and you push your kids away.
Love says, I agree. I have inspired a few members of family members to give homeschooling a try, and more who do the more it goes. Oh, the more, yes, the more people that homeschool, the more homeschoolers. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Homeschooling begets homeschooling.
Yes.
100%.
And then we become cult.
Wow. Totally goes against what we were saying. Right? So I think we've got a little bit more time.
Okay. So if y'all have questions, go ahead and put them in the comment because we were supposed to put that in earlier. Please ask questions if you have questions. But one of the questions we have considered talking about was something that I don't remember how it got brought up, but was about, do you need a classroom room? And we're in Lavanda's beautiful room. Eventually, she and I are going to get our life together and do a classroom tour because we both have new classrooms and neither one of us have done a new tour for our classrooms.
I can't show you what the current situation looks like.
She's organized.
It's because I'm setting up for the next school year. So there's piles of books that are meant to be in piles with certain things and piles that I need to make unit studies for. Piles that have unit studies. Things are in disarray right now. So this is the best it's going to get in this little corner right here. It's also operating as our guest room. So here we are.
Okay, but did you always have a classroom?
No, we started just at the kitchen table, and so you can start anywhere, and we still homeschool anywhere in the house.
Yeah.
But this is really where we house our things, and this can be other places, but I'm one of those people that likes things to be in the place where they belong. It helps me to stay organized. It helps things to stay tidy, right? You would know it looking at my floor right now, but that's because there's a process happening right now.
She's very tight.
There's a process. I'm not. I'm putting together curriculum, y'all. So, but you don't need a homeschool room. For years we homeschooled at the dining room table. We had bookshelves in the house. We would just clear off the table and put it back on the bookshelf when it was time to start homeschooling. I mean, when it was time to start dinner or if we want to play games. We still use our dining room table. We homeschool in the kitchen because we're cooking. We homeschool in the garden because we're gardening. We homeschool at the museum. This is just the home base, right? So it's just like your home, right? Your home is the home base for your family, but you live everywhere. Like you live around your city. You go to different places. You're not just trapped. Our schoolroom operates the same way.
Also, she has the space, so she can.
I do, but it's been a long time coming.
When we both have not had space. Yeah, when we didn't have the space to have a room, we didn't. My classroom works as my office and classroom, and it's home to my kitten right now, who just kind of took it over. But whatever. But for me, the reason why I like having it, dork. Her battery's low. Her battery's always dying.
It's not. It's at 50% now.
Oh, okay.
The lives take a lot of juice.
Okay.
They take a lot of juice. I'll go find my charger.
You're good.
Oh, good. Okay.
We only got 50. Will it last 15 minutes?
Oh yeah. Okay. Maybe.
No, but you don't need a classroom. You can homeschool in a space. Please don't let people, even like us. Our favorite thing is the table. It's such a favorite thing of ours to do the dining table that I bought a dining table and put in our classroom because we love the dining room table. It's like so great, and then when we want to eat in school, we can. So
I love having. Right now, we have desks because it made sense for our previous classroom space, but now we just keep them because they're here. But before it was a table, and I would love to go back to a table, but this is what it is for now. Unless I don't want to have to sell these and then buy it. I'm happy with this is working. It's working for now.
Okay. So Love had a good question. She said, her question is, do you foresee the government trying to ban or regulate homeschool more? And she was going on to say what's happening in Ohio. They're giving homeschoolers spending accounts and budgets ability. So you know how they do in California.
Oh yeah, they do that in California. So,
okay. So here's the thing. When it comes to the Constitution, no, our government is not allowed to ban homeschooling. It's not something that would ever be allowed to be banned in our country. However, if we don't advocate for ourselves, I have watched us lose rights because we don't advocate for ourselves. And it's part of the plan. I'm going to get a little conspiracy theory here. But if you keep people busy trying to make money all the time to keep all their stuff, and I'm guilty, I'm not casting but if you do that, then they have no time to advocate for themselves or for other people, right?
yeah.
Especially when you have a 2-income family and you're stressed and you're trying to take care of your kids and stuff like that. So yes, could homeschoolers in the future lose their ability to homeschool? Absolutely, if we don't advocate for ourselves. Now, for the financial side of when they give people the ability, if it's an option, then that's really, while the government is giving some control, the root of that law started with people saying, hey, I pay taxes, my tax money goes to this public school, but I pay for private school or whatever. And so government saying, okay, well, you're right. If the school is not raising them, going to the standard that they're required, then we can take this money from here and take it over there. And then homeschoolers were like, well, hold the phone. I pay taxes too. So if I'm opted out, can I use some of that money? And the government is like, yes, but we can't advocate for anything religious. So,
which makes sense.
Yeah, which does make sense. So you got to see it both sides. Now, if your government requires that you use XYZ curriculum, that's a scary thing. But if they're offering it, you're good.
Yeah. So typically, the way, because we have a friend that came from California, they still got to choose the curriculum that they used. If it was consumable, meaning like worksheets that they finished and they wrote in and whatnot, then they got to keep it. But if it was a craft or something like that they used the money for, that was something they kept. But if it was actual textbooks, they could use the money to buy them, but they'd have to return them to like the co-op kind of. It's not co-op, but they're really just an umbrella for the homeschool, how they manage their homeschool in California. They call them co-ops there. They call them homeschool co-ops, but it's government. The government oversees it, and there are pros and cons, like Diana said. But I mean, I don't necessarily see them getting rid of homeschooling. I could see it being more heavily regulated, and if more documentaries like the one that we just talked about, Shiny Happy People, if you weren't here earlier, come out, then yeah, I could definitely see that. But we have to understand, like, this is something that we love. This is something that we're passionate about. We're passionate about our children and our children's rights. And just like if my kids were in public school or any charter school, whatever it is, I will be fighting for their right to a good education there. So I definitely will do it. It's definitely up to us to do it as homeschoolers.
I hope that helps answer your question. So, I mean, to say it in a nutshell, I think big government is always a little scary when you have it in hands and everything, but it's also what the people are asking for right now.
What are they asking for?
They're asking for the government to control everything.
Oh.
I mean, the majority. I'm not saying us individually.
What's that?
Well,
but people want the help.
It's indirectly. Yeah, when
if
you
say want the help, then that's what comes with it.
Like I tell my kids,
strings attached.
You are more than welcome to not live here, but while you're in this house. I mean, it's what it is.
It's a thing. I think people forget because there are always strings attached. You have to go based on how they want you to do it. There's a lot less freedom when involved in anything, right? When our government gets involved and starts regulating things, especially in homeschooling, you see it. And if you want to be able to do things a certain way, now, mind you, our friends in California were getting mad money.
And being
They were
able
getting mad
to
money.
like do lots of great field trips. There was some perks. Nevada wasn't playing that. Homeschoolers were like, government want what? For how much? No, thank you. We'll do it ourselves. And Texas is the same way.
Texas don't want it.
Texas want absolutely nothing. And we have seen like a dual thing happening in Nevada. And I really think Nevada does homeschooling really well. With one thing I would ask for is just a little more, y'all good? Okay, just check.
Yeah.
Just a little touch.
Same here, because you don't have to send any.
Ooh.
No, well, Nevada's different because you still have to send in a letter of intent that you send into your school district saying, "Hey, I'm homeschooling my kids."
But then nobody contacts you after that.
No, they send you a letter back.
Yeah, and then it's gone. It's like, all right.
How often do we want them to contact us?
Once a year, come check and make sure that.
That's
maybe not come, but like just a little letter, like, hey, y'all good?
A letter, maybe. I'm fine.
A call, your kid's alive. Yeah.
See,
you got some of us that don't do vaccines. We homeschool. We don't let them. Don't go to any place. Nobody sees these kids alive. Somebody I know I'm probably but I'm just saying I don't want.
There are states that do that though. They have requirements. Kids have to do certain things. I'm
not looking for anything intense. Just a little hey, you good? Do you need any of our support? Do you have any questions?
That actually felt nice. Thank you. I could go to sleep. The kids put me to sleep like that yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I'm sure most homeschoolers disagree, but I have seen some things, and where these kids would just be literally pale from not getting sunlight. It was they were. Just not coming out, and just if there's some kind of regulation, then parents make sure that they're on their toes a little bit. I don't know. And you know me, I'm always looking out for the least of these. That bothers me.
If there's anything, it should be you're required to attend a certain number of homeschool conferences or.
I don't look at these parents. I want to see those kids. Are the kids okay?
Well,
blink if you need help.
Oh gosh, they're not even doing that at the school level.
Well, but it's fallen
apart. They have
apart.
truancy officers.
It has fallen apart tremendously, especially since COVID, and I will admit. But one of the things being when I was growing up,
they didn't check on us when we were on lockdown.
No, not even a little bit. That's what I'm saying. It broke. It did. But when I was a kid, it was so nice to know that if anything happened, my teachers and the staff there was a safe place for me. And not that I was ever worried about anything, but
that's true.
You knew that there was an extra set of eyes that you could, I don't know, that kind of that bothers me a little bit. So I'm all about small government in my life, but I just think a few little regulations here or there just for the safety of the kids would be good. Obviously, if I care about it, I'm not hurting mine. But my kids go see their doctor, and my kids go to church. And
that's actually a good one.
Yeah.
Just regular checkups.
Yeah.
They need to.
Yeah, just require that they have regular
annual checkup is a good one.
That would be enough. Yes.
That should be enough. So the doctor's seen them, their paperwork.
That would be fine. I love that. Look, we always solve all people's problems and tell no one.
Right. I'm fine.
Tell no one, gosh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So and your kids don't need to have to if you're anti-vaccine or whatever, your kids don't have to get vaccinated to go get an annual checkup. They just have to get it, so that's a good way to kind of set it up if they were to do it. That's the only way I would be okay with.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I love that. I love that idea.
But here in Texas, you don't have to do anything. Same. I came from Michigan. We moved to Las Vegas. At least in Las Vegas, you had to send a letter of intent. In Michigan, it's just like here. We didn't have to send anything. We just started doing it.
Oh, yep. It's nothing. It's kind of surprising to me. I'm okay.
That part is okay. There should be something that you send in and that they send you back. It's also helpful for discounts because people ask for those things.
And also, teachers discounts. If you need to show any proof, God forbid you're ever in a legal issue or anything that deals with your children, it's always nice to have that document. We always had that document in a safe place.
I still keep ours. I don't know why.
Seriously, I actually have mine too in my homeschool binder, and showing that we are registered homeschoolers, that we've done our due diligence, and so that we're showing that because CPS can be a thing. You know what I'm saying?
I could just bring them to my schoolroom. Like, you think I'm doing all this for nothing? Look at all these books and things and crafts. Look at this cloth.
Look at these crow things.
Do you think I'm paying all this money to teach no one?
These kids are aging me.
Oh gosh.
I send my kid.
She's beautiful.
Oh, you're so sweet. I don't mind crows.
We all have it when we smile.
Yeah, no. That's just showing you're a trustworthy person. I don't care if that little laugh line. All right, that one.
Oh gosh.
Is there or her? You start to see the sag and you're like, no, go get it tucked.
That's just for weight gain for me.
Oh, no, there's a difference.
Oh, okay.
There's a difference. Give it time. Anyway.
I think that's all we got, y'all. So feel free to jump in the comments if you're watching this at a later time, and we will comment. We would love, again, I'll put out a questionnaire or a question asking for, I don't know why I'm rubbing this paper. I'll put out a question on YouTube and on Facebook to see like what kind of things you guys want us to talk about in our next upcoming lives. But until then.
Yeah, and don't forget, by the way, a lot of you guys have been going and downloading our free guide to homeschooling, our actually resources, our free resources. Thank you for doing that. So please keep downloading that. We're glad because we put a lot of love, sweat, and tears into that. So the fact that you're downloading it really means a lot to us. So keep downloading it. And then the free course is currently free. And if you want to help someone learn to homeschool, it's an excellent guide. You can jump around wherever you want. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go through the whole course, but if you do, guarantee you'll learn. I actually, ironically, do rewatch some of our videos because I need reminding myself of the things that we have to do, or you get lost.
Yeah, you do.
There's a lot, life's full.
It is.
So check us out online. And Lavada just posted a new video today, so please check out that video. What was that video?
Oh, it's our calendar year at a glance for our homeschool year for the next upcoming year.
Was amazing, by the way.
Girl, thank you.
I was like, what? Now I'm like, I don't know if I can post my video because I'm up here in the kitchen like, like, y'all, I'm gonna chop these strawberries and talk to y'all. Like,
that's the best. That's the best. I love like moving around. I want to move more around, but I'm like, this is a nice backdrop for me for what I'm talking about. But I don't know. I don't know if we're trying to be PC or what, or like correcting how we do it. Doesn't need to look a certain way. I was on Canva and I did the thing.
You did.
And Miracle edited this. She's been editing my last couple videos. That last one included. So she did a good job.
Yeah.
There's also a book haul in there. I didn't put that in the description, but I thought it'd be a nice surprise. It's a small book haul, not curriculum, because that'll come later. Yeah. I'm still working some things out, y'all. Okay.
I will plan nothing until next month, and I have.
You will see curriculum in July or August from us. That's when I don't know what people are like. April, May, curriculum.
Oh, that's just to do that. Like what you using? All right, we gotta talk and walk.
That's true. Curriculum. That's true. But I still would never even post my video. Oh, I probably had it by then. Either way, that's not the life I'm living right now. So we got some things, but not everything. And I like to go to the homeschool convention first and see if I'm gonna be, what kind of life I'm gonna live, and then.
See, I'm very scared about that because I know what I want to do. I have a good guide, but I feel like the homeschool convention is going to deter me. And
it's going to test your resolve.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I need blinders. I don't, I wanted to be inspired to homeschool like a homeschooler. That's my goal for going, and then just seeing, and then also being educated about what's available. So when we consult with homeschoolers, which if you ever need consulting, we can consult with you.
Yes, we do.
Check out our website for that.
It's in the description as well.
But also knowing what's around, what's available, being able to touch those things that I don't already own. Although I own a lot of curriculum, just to to educate myself on that. So that's kind of my goal.
Yeah.
But I'm scared.
I have most of the things in place, but they also offer really good deals at the convention for curriculum that you might be interested in ordering.
I should come with dollars.
Well, come with some dollars. Yeah. All right. Thank you guys. We love you. Bye.
We never can do this right.
There we go.